Okay, you're back. Welcome to the SCIF. I'm Matt. That's Stu. We are the Green Beret Life. Please check us out online at TheGreenBeretLife.com. We're a 501c3. We do training, pistol, rifle, shotgun, other training as well. Get a hold of us if you have any questions. You can get a hold of us at TheGreenBeretLife@gmail.com. If you have questions about anything, questions about the military, whatever, go ahead and send us a question and we'll get back to you. Sometimes it takes a little while. We've got another show for you tonight. We're going to try to cover a bunch of stuff tonight again, but we're trying to keep it closer to that hour-ish window. Okay. And I think we had our best night last week with getting close, right? Wouldn't you say that, Stu?
About 2 weeks ago, the show, we actually had one on Valentine's Day, and we kind of weren't expecting it to.
Oh boy, I'm getting every other word
successful because people were spending time with people much more trust.
You're freezing, dude. Am I coming through clear?
Yeah, you carry on for a second. Let me see if I can find the problem. I'll be back in just a moment.
Okay. So we got I'm going to just jump into some of the topics that we were going to talk about tonight. Stu's got a few topics. I've got a few topics. One of the things that I did want to talk about, it's something we can sort of talk about here right now, is Trump has released his list of the people that he's considering for vice presidential candidates. And on that list, of course, there's a surprise. There's one real surprise. Beyond that, there are no surprises to me. But there's one surprise. And, the fact General Flynn's not on it, which is a little bit of a surprise to me as well. But the candidates are Vivek. And everybody knows who my pick is. I want Vivek. It's Tulsi Gabbard, who I know a lot of people give her a lot of garbage, and we've talked about Tulsi Gabbard before. Tulsi Gabbard has taken a lot of incoming. She's a vet. I think she's a legitimate person. Okay, she was on the Democrat side before, but she also stood up to the Democrat machine, and she took all of the incoming from it. She was accused of being a Russian sympathizer and mouthpiece. So we have to have the grace to be able to accept people coming over to our side, right? And I've said this before, it's not necessarily a blue thing and it's not necessarily a red thing. If you believe in the country, in the way it was founded, and you believe in the Constitution, right? We're all on the same side here, and we need to save this country. So we have to be able to welcome people coming over from the other side, right? And I think she is a good voice. I know she's had some anti-Second Amendment stuff in the past, but everybody has the ability to change their thoughts on things. So I say, I think she's legitimate. I think I would like to see her in the cabinet, to be honest with you. And I think it's a voice our side could use. So Tulsi Gabbard is in it. Byron Donalds is in it. He would be excellent, but I don't like the idea of taking people from the positions where they're being effective right now, such as Congress, such as the Senate, such as a governorship. Okay. And we're going to get into some other ones. Kristi Noem, she's excellent, but I would hate to take her out of South Dakota. She is an excellent governor. And once she's no longer a governor, I'd love to see her in the cabinet, or even, as a VP candidate down the road. The other one that Tim Scott, and here's the surprise. We all knew most of these. Okay, we thought maybe Carrie Lake, but Carrie Lake needs to be in that Senate seat in Arizona, right? But Ron DeSantis. Okay, and I've said this from even before Ron ran. I think Ron damaged himself immensely by running against Trump. Hopefully the hatchet has been buried between those two, and obviously it has. because he is being considered. I just worry because Ron knows how to govern this state, and Florida is arguably the most important state in the country, and we need to keep good people there, because if Ron wasn't here, who's going to be running this state? This state has a few issues that need to be sorted out, and the insurance issue is one of them. So I would really like to see Ron DeSantis get back to his ways of old and really govern the state the way it's supposed to be governed. And that's sort of where I'm at. I think I've mentioned before, Stu and I have talked about it on here. I think Vivek is the man for the job. I like the fact that he's not a politician. I know there's some stuff in his background that gives one pause, but I have to believe he's been vetted every way until Sunday. And I really think the way he communicates, he's young, he's smart. He definitely seems like he's got a set of stones on him. He's willing to take the incoming. I like him, and I think he builds a bridge to help us connect with some powerful allies that I think we need, such as India. I think we need to set up a whole sort of an alliance to sort of keep China in check, and India is integral to that. India, Japan, Australia, Korea.
Hey, Matt, are you talking about all of the VP choices right now?
That's what I was talking about. I thought that would be a good place to start because you weren't there. Did we figure out what was going on with the connection there?
Yeah, it's one of the joys of living in the middle of nowhere. Sometimes the potato I have for a router shits the bed, so you have to go and kick it and start it up again.
So, well, yeah. So the VP candidates I've pretty much gone through all of them. I said there was a surprise. Ron DeSantis is on the list, and I was reiterating, Stu. There are some people that are in positions I don't want to take them from. We cannot afford to lose good people in the House. That's Byron Donalds, right?
Well, I mean,
Ron
and that's
DeSantis
that's the thing. Like you've made the point before, the VP, and as a whole, doesn't have a lot of power up front, but it also kind of paves the way for a successor. So it's kind of you have to weigh that.
Traditionally, a VP doesn't have power. I think this VP is going to be different. This VP is going to be the next president after
I think
Trump.
so.
Yeah, and we need to make sure we get a Trump protege, and I think a lot of these people could fall into that position. But I think Vivek, there were some questions. How did he raise that kind of money while he was essentially in college?
I think if as much as he was just getting absolutely under the skin of the media, as well as the Republican machine, I believe if they had a way to throw him to the wolves and expose him for something, they would have taken that opportunity.
He's definitely, I think, been vetted, and I think he's for real. I think he is. Him and Trump are going to be on the same frickin' page.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be getting too strong. You never trusted Pence. You know what I mean? He would stick with Trump on a lot of things, but you never trusted Pence. And then when we needed Pence, we didn't get him, right? I think Vivek will be another. He's a wild card. He does not give a shit. He's personally wealthy. That's another thing that I really like. These politicians have become such whores. You know what I mean?
Right. And like they're not Vivek, Trump, and I mean, I hate to make the point of it because we know it's bullshit, but even Nikki Haley now is, pretty much independently wealthy. And I don't believe, by no means do I intend to say Haley's anywhere near the caliber of Trump or Vivek, but just the two of them, they're not interested in going into office to make money, to have a career of it, and to, they don't need to. Either one of them could never work another minute in their life and never notice a decrease in their standard of living. They wouldn't.
Nikki Haley's worth $8 million. She's not any, and she's made all of that money off of grifting after she got out of
the last 3 years.
Yeah, the secretary position. She is not in that same. She is all about the money, and she is all about being bought and paid for by the military-industrial complex. Vivek, Trump, forget. This is why they hate them. This is why they cannot be bought off by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce or the military-industrial complex, and because of that, they hate them because they know they're there and they're going to do the work for the American people. They're going to take on China. They're going to take on NATO. They're going to take on these European nations, right? And they're going to take on the deep state. They're going to take on the administrative deep state, which needs to be crushed.
Did you happen to mention what you and I were talking about the other day with, I guess, for lack of a better term, kind of intermediate shows?
Say that again.
Did you mention what you and I were talking about the other day about the possibility of doing some intermediate shows throughout the week instead of just having the one show on Wednesdays?
Not yet, but we can talk about that right now because I think we've sort of covered the VP thing. What Stu was talking about is we were talking about adding some additional content on here and basically putting content up separately. Now we got to figure out how we're going to do this quite yet, but you should probably get a short clip or video from Stu and myself. And for those of you that remember old school Saturday Night Live, that was funny. We're doing a kind of a takeoff off of that. Deep Thoughts with Jack Handy. And this one is going to be Deep Thoughts with Matt and Stu. And we're each going to come up with something. It's going to be independent from one another. We're going to talk about whatever's on our mind that particular day. Okay, it might be a current event. It might be something we're doing with a gun. It might be something we're doing. Stu's got a kick-ass Jeep rock crawler that he's working on. It's been working on for a while. Might be something with that,
Yeah.
Stu has a bunch of insight too in off-grid living as well. He's pretty much off the grid where he lives. He's out in the middle of nowhere, and
absolutely,
and is pretty much self-sufficient from pretty much anything. Really, he's got massive solar out there. He's got you pretty much got everything. You got your own well, own septic. You're really not hooked into any utilities whatsoever.
No, we have to be hooked by state law for whatever reason. We have to be hooked to the grid, even if you had enough to be completely self-sustaining by law to have a certificate of habitation. You have to be connected to the grid
for electricity. Yeah,
but like what Matt and I were talking about is, we try and come up with things that we want to talk about and bring to you guys, but there's so much stuff that happens between the time we do the show on Wednesdays and the following Wednesday. Something could drop on Thursday or Friday. And then by the time the next 5 days rolls around, there's another 8 or 10 or 12 things that have come up that we want to talk about. And we honestly have to curate and be like, well, that's cool, but we've got, this other thing that's bigger and it's more timely because it's more recent. So what we've decided to try and do is do a show, we have our normal big Wednesday show, and then possibly on a Friday, and then maybe again on a Monday, one or the other of us will do a little short 5-10 minute pre-recorded show that we'll just post up. That's kind of something that's come up that's caught our attention, that we want to bring to you that, may not make it, the shelf life may not be be enough to get it to the next Wednesday, depending on what's going on. But it's something that we think needs to be discussed. So we had talked about that. It'd give a little more content to the show. It would give a little bit more out there for viewers and that sort of thing. So it's something we're tossing around. I'm not sure when we're going to exactly implement it, if it'll be this week or maybe next week. We'll have to play with StreamYard and get the particulars on how to pre-record a show and post it up, because as you all know, and has been painfully obvious to everyone on pretty much a reoccurring basis, Matt and I are not professionals at this by any stretch of the imagination. We just somehow just fiddle our way through it, and it works about 80% of the time. And we're lucky for that.
85% of the time. Don't sell yourself short.
Hey, it works 100% of the time, about 80% of the time. So we're good with that.
There you go. Did we have another troll show up in here?
We did, but he got booted. I'm tempted just to leave him for the viewer count, but don't want to run off people that don't want to deal with the jackassery, which is, absolutely understandable.
This dude has been coming back to this show. He's taken a hiatus, but he's been coming back to this show for about 2 years, maybe 2.5 years. I mean, he has shown up and done the same exact thing. It's got.
At least he's dedicated. That's a good thing.
He is dedicated. And it was amusing at some stage, and then he started getting weird, and then it got even a little more weird, and now he's back. So he's like he's what did they say? He's one of those dudes that are like herpes. They keep coming back.
Can't get rid of them.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So anyways, I think right now would probably be a good time for us to go over to Odysee and Rumble. If you haven't joined us, if you haven't signed up already for us over there, please come over and join us at Odysee and Rumble, or Rumble, whatever. Okay. YouTube is not a platform for free speech. It's going to get worse. Just prepare yourself. We've got an election coming up. We know what side Google's on, and it's going to get worse. So please, if you have content creators that you like on YouTube, encourage them to go over to Rumble for sure, or Odysee or BitChute. Rumble's it seems like it's going to be the next big one. Okay, but you've got to get off the platform here, because they're going to hit you. I was talking to Stu last week. There was a gun channel that I used to watch, and it was Superset CA, right? And they did excellent reviews, and they were mediums. They just hit 100,000 subscribers, okay? And it took them years to get there. And for some reason, YouTube just canked them, and they were far from controversial, right? And they've started over. They changed the name. I wish I knew the name of their new channel, boy. But anyways, they're going to do this to everybody. If you're into 2A, they're going to do it to you. If you're into politics and you don't push the narrative, they're going to do it to you. If you do anything that goes against their narrative, they are going to push you off the air. There is going to be a push like no other leading up to this next election to censor any alternate voice. Okay. They used to control us all through the mainstream media. Nobody watches mainstream media anymore. Okay.
No.
They used to control us through cable. Nobody watches cable anymore. Okay. So now that we have these alternate outlets out there, they're going to put maximum pressure. That's why you're seeing the European Union going after Rumble and going after Twitter X so hard. Right? We need to make sure that we support the outlets that support free speech, because that's where we're going to get our information. We've said it a million times. We're in an information war. Okay. So please, please, please. I know it's different. It's a bit of a pain in the ass having to go to another platform, because we've all been so ingrained in YouTube, right? but you've got to go over to Rumble, sign up, encourage platforms that you are, encourage providers that you like to go and re-platform over at Rumble, and let's just make a migration. You know, we can leave the makeup tutorials and the radical Marxist speech to the YouTube, and then we can build on Rumble and make Rumble the place where all the interesting content is at. So it's happening. They've grown by leaps and bounds. Let's get over there. We're going to catch you on the other side in a few moments. The link should be down below. Do we have the link down below for Rumble and Odysee?
It is. Rumble and Odysee links are both in the description. And like Matt said, I would like to encourage everyone. We've had everyone come over and give us a thumbs up. Follow us if you haven't. It really helps. We have one of our viewers has decided to subscribe to our channel, which is different than following. It's actually they've committed to a $5 a month donation to the channel, which helps because Matt's paying for StreamYard out of his pocket to get this going and keep it going, and we appreciate him doing that for us. Encourage you guys, if you can, please subscribe, help us out, help at least cover the cost of the channel. Anything above and beyond that will go to the 501c3, just like any other donations for the veterans activities that Matt talks about at the beginning of every show. And we really encourage you guys to do that. The show's growing a little bit. We had one, like you said, a couple of weeks ago that really seemed to strike kind of a happy point. And we had a lot of views on that for us, which we were real excited about. And that's what makes it for us. When we see the views, we know what we're doing. People are liking it. It's hitting something that they're looking for, and that's what we're trying to find to build out the show. But like Matt said, come over to Rumble. We're gonna drop off of YouTube here, and we'll pick up over there on the other side.
See you on the other